I, 39 years old female, have a 6-person girl group since college, 37. 39 years old females, and that includes Mary, 38 years old female. We've been close throughout the years and have been at milestone events for each other. Mary just had a baby and is completely fitting into the crazy new mother stereotype. In college, Mary has always been someone who had to make it known that she was unique, different from the rest of us, which wasn't as draining then as it has become now. For starters, all the other women in our circle got married between the ages of 22, 27, and we all have multiple kids. So the 5 of us were able to experience those milestones alongside one another and got closer as we shared similar lifestyles. Mary was very adamant about not settling until her 30s because she wanted to travel and have different experiences, which we all supported. Regardless, she would continue to make comments about how she's so lucky, unlike us, because we're tied down with husbands and babies. I think this is where she grew resentment towards us because we were in different places in life, and she was upset we couldn't have our group be similar to how it was in college. Then, in our mid-30s, it became a whole saga of her getting older and not being able to find a husband because all the good men are married or divorced with kids. When she finally got married, many could not attend because it was a destination event and child-free during Infection 19. This caused a fight because she said how she was there for us during our weddings, but we couldn't put aside a week for her. We had all told her how we wished we could, but it simply was not financially feasible and didn't work logistically with our kids. But she just refused to hear us out and was simply inconsiderate about our lives and families, saying we were horrible friends. Now Mary just gave birth to her first child and I was very excited for her. The only issue is that she moved from our state to a very remote place that's only accessible by a 6-hour car ride. Her baby is 6 months old, and none of us have been able to go up to visit her. I think she's been having a wrong idea of what a village is and has essentially demanded in our group chat that we come up for the holidays and help her out because she's having a hard time adjusting to mum life. But this would entail all of us taking a week off, arranging childcare, figuring out transportation, and booking hotels during the holidays. It's gotten to the point where she's posting cryptic messages on Facebook, bashing fake friends who won't be there for her. As much as I wish I could, I cannot physically support her in the way she needs me to do in this stage of life. It would have been completely different if she still lived in our city. And this was earlier in life when we had fewer commitments/priorities. So I told her this and that if she was hoping for this big village and constant support, she should have thought about that when planning out her life because we can't all just pause our lives for her. So am I the idiot? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Bring on the downvotes, but you're the idiot. You should have thought of that a long time ago is such a sick move, like, what is she supposed to get a time machine? This shows a ton of resentment for her different life. This post is so one-sided and demonized this lady to such a massive extent that I struggle to believe that it, or at least many of the details of it, are true. Every choice your friend makes goes wrong in a way you show some schadenfreude about in your writing style. My friend delayed getting married and then witched about all the guys being married. Really? Yeah, your friend sounds like a jerk, so do you. You obviously went down different life paths and resent each other for it. Edit. Wow, I was the only you're the idiot when I posted this. Pleasantly surprised I'm not the only one with this opinion. Edit 2. Put this in a comment, but I didn't vote ESH because I think OP is possibly likely mischaracterizing her friend. Comment 2. I have to ask, has she provided a lot of support to the group? Was she there for your weddings, which may have made difficult demands on her? Has she provided time and resources for the group's children over the years, such as babysitting and the like? Edit. I ask because as the childless one in the friend group, I'm often expected to be ride or die. But when it comes to returns on the favours, sorry bro, like it's just too hard with the kids comes up a lot. Sure, if some of those stories were told, I'd look like an entitled a-hole. Edit 2. P.S. I am absolutely ride or die in general, but seriously are some people ungrateful. Comment 3. Everyone sucks here. Your friend is delusional for her demands, but this has nothing to do with your timelines. If she had kids when you did, you would have had your own little kids to take care of. If anything, your kids are now around 10, so it should be easier to take off a week. The issue is that she lives too far away for you to help support her. It was as rude for you to shame her for having standards and living her life as it was for her to shame you for not being able to attend her wedding. If you want to be in her life, I hope you send her baby gifts. If you don't, no harm, no foul. Now, For the update, 2 weeks have passed since my last post about our friend Mary, and I wish I could say things have calmed down. It all started when Cara, one of our group, decided to bite the bullet and visit Mary. She took a week off work, juggled some serious childcare gymnastics, and made the trek. We were all hopeful this might mend fences, but oh, how wrong we were. Cara arrived to find Mary living in what can only be described as an off-the-grid commune. Yes, you read that right, commune. It turns out Mary's husband is part of a group that believes in living at one with nature, which basically means no running water, no electricity, and definitely no internet. Cara stuck it out for 2 days, trying to help with the baby amid what can best be described as a tech-free, free love festival. But when she stumbled upon a rebirth ceremony in the main cabin and found herself nominated as the group's spiritual midwife, she noped right out of there. Meanwhile, back on the internet, cryptic posts were the least of our worries. Mary took to social media, blasting Cara for leaving early and accusing us all of being fake friends. Screenshots were sent, group chats exploded, and suddenly we were all embroiled in a very public, very messy feud. Just when we thought things couldn't get any crazier, Mary's sister reached out to us, revealing Mary had been cut off from her family for months. Apparently our friend had been spinning tales about how supportive her college friends were, and when the truth came out, it was the last straw for her family. So where does that leave us? Honestly, I don't know. The divide seems wider than ever. Some of us think we should reach out, stage some sort of intervention. Others feel Mary's made her bed and has to lie in it. It's a mess of epic proportions and none of us saw it coming. The feeling of betrayal is palpable, but there's also a deep concern for Mary's well-being. It's clear she's caught up in something that's not entirely healthy, and now there's a baby in the mix. Despite the hurt feelings and the chaos, I think we're still hoping to find a way to help her, if she'll let us. So there it is, the latest chapter in the saga none of us signed up for. I'm left wondering if the Mary we knew is still there somewhere, or if we've lost her to this new life she's chosen. Only time will tell, but one thing is for sure. Nothing is ever straightforward when it comes to friendships and the paths they take. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Friendship is founded on mutual respect and understanding, and while it is admirable that the group wants to help Mary, it's also important to recognise that she is an adult capable of making her own choices, even if those choices are not what her friends or family would prefer. Cara's attempt to visit and help Mary was a kind gesture that shows she cares, but when that help was rebuffed in such a public and hurtful way, it is understandable why Cara and the group would feel betrayed. Mary's decision to estrange herself from her family and to lie about her college friends is alarming and suggests deeper issues that she needs to address. It's vital that the group sets boundaries to protect their emotional well-being while still expressing their concern for Mary. However, the presence of a baby in Mary's life complicates matters as the child's welfare becomes a priority. If there are genuine concerns for the baby's safety, it might be necessary to seek external help from professionals. Otherwise, it might be best to give Mary the space she seems to be asking for, while being open to supporting her if she reaches out for help in the future. Comment 2. Not the idiot. The complexity of this situation cannot be understated, and it's essential to approach it with a balance of empathy and pragmatism. While Mary's accusations of her friends being fake may be hurtful, it's important to consider the potential influence of the commune's ideology on her behaviour. Groupthink and the pressure to conform can lead individuals to act out of character, and Mary may be under such influences. Intervention in such a sensitive situation must be handled delicately to avoid pushing Mary further away or reinforcing the commune's possible narrative of the outside world being against them. It's also necessary to consider the legal and ethical implications of intervening in an adult's life choices. The group's intention to help is noble, and it's clear they care deeply for Mary, but they must also respect her autonomy. The best course of action may be to maintain a channel of open and non-judgmental communication, offering support without imposing their perspectives. It might also be beneficial for the friends to seek guidance from professionals experienced in dealing with individuals in similar situations to ensure any actions taken are in Mary's best interests. Comment 3. Not the idiot. The situation with Mary is fraught with emotional tension and the potential for misunderstanding. It's necessary to acknowledge the pain Mary's actions have caused the group, but also to consider the possibility that Mary may be struggling with issues that her friends are not fully aware of. The estrangement from her family and the drastic change in her lifestyle could be indicative of a personal crisis. While it's clear the group deeply cares for Mary, it's also critical they consider their own mental health. Being subjected to public accusations can be damaging to one's reputation and self-esteem. It's okay to establish boundaries when a friend's actions become toxic or harmful. In terms of moving forward, it might be helpful for the group to reflect on the history of their friendship with Mary and any red flags that may have been overlooked. Understanding the pattern of Mary's behaviour could provide insight into how best to support her. Additionally, it's important to consider the role of the baby in the situation. If the group suspects any form of neglect or endangerment, they have a moral obligation to ensure the child's safety, which may involve contacting Child Protective Services. Ultimately, the group's response should be measured and informed by genuine concern for Mary's and the baby's well-being, while also safeguarding themselves against further emotional harm. Now, for the next story. A couple of weeks ago, I, 35-year-old, had my sister, 39-year-old, and her family, including niece, 11-year-old, over for a barbecue. We had a pretty good time, with the exception of niece, who was pretty much constantly on her phone recording TikToks. Slightly annoying, but ultimately not my kid, not my problem. I've talked to my sister a while ago about being careful what niece is putting online, protecting her identity, etc. My sister brushed it off, saying that niece was sensible enough not to do anything stupid. I figure I'd try and bridge the gap. So I asked niece what she's recording. It's a TikTok. You're old, you wouldn't get it. I work in tech, so it's not like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I decide to let it slide and do some digging later. Turns out niece has used her full government name to register for TikTok, with links to her public Instagram with the same name, so I did what any reasonable person would do. Reported everything for being under 13. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everything I could find. With the nature of TikTok trends, some of the stuff on there was stuff that 11-year-olds probably shouldn't be doing and definitely shouldn't be recording. Fast forward to today, sister calls me and asks me if I can have a look at niece's iPad. Apparently she can't log into any of her accounts and she's having a meltdown about it. I talk her through it and it quickly becomes apparent that the accounts are blocked and asking for ID. I'm in two minds whether to tell her it was me that reported the account or just tell her to submit the ID, knowing it'll get niece permanently banned. So, am I the idiot for nuking my niece's social media? Edit. Thanks for your advice. Seems like most people are with me on this. I'm not going to tell her it was me. I'm assuming she'll probably create new accounts, and if those come up, I'll speak to her mum. There were a couple of bits a few people mentioned, so I'll add them here rather than copy-paste a load. You banned her government name, she'll just use a pseudonym. Good. It's one less thing people can use to track her down, and one less thing someone can hold over her if something goes wrong. I'm not stupid enough to think this will stop her, but maybe she'll start to understand that she needs to be smarter about it. She's not your kid to parent, you should have spoken to her mum about it. True, and one of the reasons why I questioned if I was the jerk. My sister is great in many ways, but tech isn't one of them. I tried it the reasonable way, I probably overstepped, but I don't think removing someone from a dangerous situation is a problem. You're invading her privacy. She's 11, posting stuff publicly under her government name. If you think any of that constitutes privacy, I don't know what to tell you. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. She's only 11 and since her parents aren't protecting her, then I don't know who will. I used to teach computer class to elementary kids, and for the older ones I gave a scare talk about a little lonely girl finding a friend online and arranging to meet them in secret, and she really believed this new friend was a girl her age. But she snuck out and was never heard from again. I cobbled this scare story from a true story, and it really made the kids think. They don't know how sneaky adults are and how dangerous, and often neither do their parents. You did what you had to do and definitely don't tell on yourself. They don't need to know, but they need to learn how to protect their child. Comment 2. You're the idiot. I mean, yeah, you're the idiot, but sometimes you have to be TA if you truly care about people. She is way too young to have that kind of internet presence, and you being in tech know the real dangers of what she was doing. If you see someone walking in the middle of the street and a truck is coming, you can only ask them politely so many times to get out of the way before you have a duty to tackle them and drag them out of the street. That being said, absolutely never tell them what you did. You will be a social outcast at every family event, and her mum will absolutely drag your name through the mud till the end of time. So yeah, you're the idiot, but you are also a good person, and 100% did the right thing. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You protected your niece and did what you thought was right. That's more than a lot of people would do considering how they treated you. I can't answer for you what to do about telling them, but I will say regardless of what you decide to do, your niece will be much better off for being banned. Now for the update. It's been a month since I made the decision to report my niece's social media accounts. I wish I could say things have improved, but they haven't. After going back and forth in my head, I decided to confess to my sister that I was the one who reported the accounts. It caused a huge rift between us. My sister was furious, saying I overstepped and that I should have trusted her to handle her daughter's online activity. She told me it was none of my business and now she's barely speaking to me. But the situation with my niece has gotten worse. Since her accounts were blocked, she's been spiraling. Her phone was her world, and without it, she's been acting out. She's been getting into fights at school. Her grades have dropped, and she's pulled away from her family. My sister is overwhelmed and has started blaming me, saying my actions caused her daughter's behavior. I'm racked with guilt. I thought I was protecting her, but it seems like I just isolated her even more. Last week, things took an even darker turn. My niece ran away from home. She was found 24 hours later at a friend's house, but those hours were the longest and most terrifying of our lives. Everyone was out looking for her, and I've never seen my sister so broken. When my niece came home, she confessed that she felt like she had no control over anything in her life anymore. She's now seeing a therapist, which is the one silver lining in this mess. But the trust in our family has been shattered. The worst part is that despite everything, some kids at school had taken screenshots of the inappropriate content she posted, and it's been circulating around. She's facing bullying, and we're all just trying to support her as best we can, but the damage has been done. I'm starting to really question if I did the right thing, or if I just made everything worse. I'm lost, and it feels like we're all just picking up the pieces of a situation that just keeps getting more broken. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's clear from your story that you had your niece's best interest at heart when you reported her social media accounts. If the content she was posting was indeed inappropriate, it could have had long-term negative consequences for her well-being and future prospects. While her behavior worsened after her accounts were blocked, it's important to recognize that correlation does not imply causation. Her reaction may have been a symptom of underlying issues that were already present, which are now being addressed in therapy. It's unfortunate that the inappropriate content is still circulating and causing her to be bullied, but that's a consequence of the internet's permanence and not directly your fault. You took steps to protect her, and while the immediate outcomes have been rough, in the long term, you may have prevented more serious repercussions. It's also important for the family to understand the role of social media in teenagers' lives and to come together to provide support and guidance as your niece navigates this challenging time. Comment 2. You're the idiot. While your intentions may have been to protect your niece, it's crucial to consider the autonomy and privacy of a young individual. Reporting her social media accounts without attempting to have an open and honest conversation with her first was a violation of her trust. This action likely contributed to her feeling out of control in her life. Teenagers are at a critical stage where they are developing their identity and autonomy, and having a trusted adult undermine that can have significant negative psychological effects. The subsequent fights, dropping grades and running away, could be seen as direct reactions to the loss of her social space and autonomy. It's key to approach such situations with empathy and open communication, offering guidance rather than punitive measures. Although the content she posted was inappropriate, it might have been more constructive to discuss the potential impacts with her, enabling her to make an informed decision to remove it herself. Comment 3. Everyone sucks here. Both you and your niece bear some responsibility in this situation. Your niece for posting inappropriate content online, which she should have known could lead to negative consequences such as bullying and damage to her reputation. And you for taking the drastic step of reporting her accounts rather than dealing with the issue within the family first. It's clear that this decision has had a negative impact on her mental health and behavior. It would have been more appropriate to work with your sister to address your niece's online activities and find a supportive way to help her understand the risks involved with social media. Additionally, the family could have explored other constructive disciplinary measures or sought professional advice before resorting to a decision that would inevitably make her feel alienated and misunderstood. Now, the family must work with the therapist to not only address the niece's feelings of being out of control, but also to repair the relationship between you and your niece, which has been damaged by your decision to report her without her knowledge or consent. If you liked this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.